Decide on a location for your pond. It should ideally be placed near the home or patio where you will get the most enjoyment out of its sights and sounds. Lay out a garden hose in a naturally curving shape to define the pond's edge. When you have finalized the shape of your pond, use a can of marking paint to outline the perimeter. This will be your guide when you start digging. After marking out your pond, you should now choose the placement of your MicroFalls and MicroSkim. The falls usually faces the main viewing area, either at the end of a stream or on the edge of the pond itself. The skimmer should be placed at the pond's edge opposite the waterfall to achieve maximum water circulation. By laying out the plumbing before you dig, you save yourself the trouble of having to dig up the berm to trench the pipe later. Simply bury it in the berm area with the excavated dirt from the pond and dig a trench for the remainder of the pipe run to the skimmer inlet. To attach the plumbing to the MicroFalls, you will need to install the bulkhead fitting and the male pipe thread adapter. Insert the bulkhead through the inlet in the back of the filter. Be sure the rubber gasket is on the inside to ensure a watertight seal. Use a pair of channel locks to tighten the seal. 1 or 2 turns past hand tight should be sufficient. Place a bead of silicone around the threads of the barbed hose adapter to ensure a leak-proof connection. Thread the fitting into the bulkhead and give it a few turns to secure it. Again, be sure not to over-tighten. Set the MicroFalls and dig it in. The MicroFalls needs to be on level ground, so mark out the area where it will sit. Be sure to tamp the area thoroughly to avoid settling. The unit should be level side to side and pitched slightly forward from front to back. Before you connect the kink-free pipe to the barbed hose adapter, slide the provided clamp over the pipe. Firmly attach the pipe to the barbed fitting and secure the clamp around it. With the MicroFalls properly connected, you can now begin to excavate the pond. Your micropond should be dug somewhere between 18 to 24 inches deep. The best way to achieve this is to dig the pond in shelves. Using your paint markings as a guide, dig the first level approximately 1 shovel head deep. As you dig the first shelf, you should also begin to work out a rough hole where the microskim will be set. Once the first shelf is excavated, use your marking paint to outline the second. Be creative and avoid mimicking the contour of the first shelf. Repeat the process on the third and final shelf until you've reached your 2-foot maximum depth. Now is the time to hook up the microskim. Place the unit in the rough hole you have prepared for it. Your skimmer should be level both front to back and side to side. It is important to determine the water level of your pond before completing the installation of your microskim mechanical filter. Use a laser level, transit, or a simple string level to assist you with this important step. Your water level should be set so that it comes to about 3/4 of an inch below the top of the faceplate opening. After you have completed the excavation and removed any sharp rocks or debris that you may have unearthed, you will be able to install the fabric underlayment and fish-safe EPDM liner. First, unfold the underlayment and lay it out over your pond. Starting in the lowest tier, remove the slack from the fabric by conforming it to the shape of the shelves. Repeat this process with the EPDM liner. Make certain there is enough extra liner around the edges of the pond to avoid low edges. Before installing the faceplate, remove the underlayment that covers the skimmer face, as you will be attaching the liner directly to the skimmer opening. With the underlayment out of the way, you are ready to affix the microskim faceplate. Lay the liner against the front of the skimmer. Use an awl, screwdriver, or marking tool to draw the opening from the inside. Once you have this mark, etch a second box approximately 1.5 inches inside the outline. Cut out the second box. This will leave an opening large enough to insert the faceplate with a snug fit. To make certain the faceplate screws line up with the microskim, temporarily install the top 2 corner screws. Once it is lined up, loosen the screws, but keep them attached to the faceplate and liner as you will pull the faceplate away from the skimmer. Apply a generous bead of silicone around the opening on the skimmer. Make sure the silicone covers all of the screw inserts to ensure a waterproof seal. Once you have applied the silicone, put the faceplate back on using the screws you have already lined up. Finish the installation by threading in the bottom 2 corners and the remaining screws after that. Be sure to allow at least an hour for the silicone to cure before adding water. Assemble the pump and plumbing assembly by following the instructions provided in the kit. Next, lower the pump into the microskim and connect the plumbing assembly to the trenched pipe by way of the union provided. It is both functional and aesthetically pleasing to cover your liner with rocks and gravel. Rocks and gravel protect the liner from ultraviolet rays and provide surface area for beneficial bacteria to colonize. Begin by placing larger boulders around the edges of the shelves. Start at the bottom to hold the liner in place as you move upward. For a more natural appearance, use a mix of small and large rocks. Having built up a secure wall around the shelves, you may now fill in the cracks and flat surfaces with gravel of varying sizes. Cover all of the exposed liner and backfill behind the rock shelves for added stability. If you will be including the optional underwater lights in your pond, it is easiest to position them now so that they can be hidden amongst the rocks. Face them away from the viewing area for the most dramatic lighting effects. Wrapping excess cord around the fixture will allow you to bring the lights above water level if maintenance is required. For a head start on great water clarity, clean off the rocks and gravel to remove dust and small debris. If you have a spare pump, you can place it in the bottom of the pond to suction out the dirty water or simply use the pump that came with your kit.